Toys SCX10 2. Good morning, folks. Here we are with the latest upgrades I did to my SCX10 2. I just thought I'd show you all this because it's all getting ready to change and I just barely got all this done. The latest stuff is super shafty. We put one of their bulletproof transmissions in it and redid the positioning of the motor in here. Did a little bit something different, so I just thought I'd let you check it out before I tore it apart tomorrow. So here we go. Okay, so what we did is we put a super shafty bulletproof transmission in it. Redid all my electronics. They're sitting right here on back. Went to the Mamba X Extreme. Should work out pretty nice. Let's look at the other side. Went to the newer 3500 milliamp 3-cell battery, which looks awesome, just a little bit bigger than the other one I used. And there's that beautiful transmission. With the Vanquish guard on it, which it's opened up a little bit so that all the stuff will kind of just fall out of it instead of getting all wrapped up in it. Just thought I'd give you just a look of this thing because it's all getting ready to change. Of course, we're running the Vanquish Curries, changing them to the F9s. Still running the transfer case underneath it. Let me get a better picture. There we go. TF2 transfer case, which gives it allows us to have overdrive in the front, and allowed me to move my motor and stuff up front a bit. This thing worked really awesome. Took it out the other night and tried it. This is the first run I've got on this on this new transmission. Really smooth. Works awesome. So what we're getting ready to try, we're going to put on her is, I don't know if you guys have heard of these new chassis, but I've seen it at Axle Fest this year. It's by ToyZuki. It is an awesome looking thing. Got it all built up this weekend. This is now the transmission light. Got rid of all of that stuff right there. This here is the transfer case, so it allows you to have front end overdrive on it, which is a must. They did a really nice job, it looks like, in their assembly of the parts in this thing. It went together really well. I just wish there was somebody on YouTube. This will be the first one of the transmission and telling you the different stuff you had to do, because there's not much instructions on it. So it's just a matter of getting it all together and working out the bushings and stuff that you need. So, but it's turns really nice and free. Of course, I'm going to put all my Tekin rock in it. So this is what it was, and it's going to be this in probably another day or so. I think I got the rest of the parts in this afternoon. Still waiting on a shaft for the transfer case that they don't tell you that you need, but after figuring it out, you need another bottom shaft in it that has in the regular one. They just don't have two of them in the transmission, so these gears and transmission stuff are all in the original kit. 2-speed compatible transmission. You just tear it apart and put the parts in here. Got to do a little modification to the shaft right here. You need to use use the standard shaft, but you cut the end off because it normally sits way out here, so you whack it off there. And then I used a SCX10 a pinion for the axles to put into this top one here, so it would have it has a be able to put your driveline on there pin. Worked really nice. Got it all set up, and the biggest issue on this thing was putting bushings, spacing it out so that it moved freely. There you can see there's you got one washer in there, and these little 0.75 millimeter bushings that really help this thing center everything, because it you know, it is an aftermarket thing, so just had to make everything fit in it really nice. So it took like 4 hours just to get the transmission doable and moving really freely along with the now transfer case. So this is her ToyZuki SCX10 2. Stay tuned. Well, here we are. It didn't take long. A couple of screws, and it's all laid out, ready to give its life. Looks like you dissect a crab kind of thing here. So anyway, we're going to get right on this tomorrow. Take this stuff to work, clean it up, put the new axles in it, and then start assembling. So stay tuned. See ya. God bless. F9 Vanquish axles. They're going to go in this. Just something a little different. How you doing, folks? Rick from Double Portion here. We've been putting in some late nights on our 10-2 with the ToyZuki frame on it. I think it's really going to pan out pretty nice. Everything went together nicely. They did a very good job on all their milling and planning for this thing. So here she is. Pretty similar to the other one since I'm using the old body, but as you can see, the stance of it is just so much different. Just got so much more clearance, even though I still have I think like 5 millimeter taken out of the front shocks and about 3 millimeter taken out of the rear shocks as far as the ride height. It usually sits higher, but I took it down so it wouldn't be so top heavy. But as you can see, everything seems to be really nice. Got the F9, the Vanquish Curry F9 axles in her. Really, just a little bit something different. All my buddies were starting to come up, have the Curry rock jocks, which I started with. They're a nice axle, really nice, but I just wanted something different, so we went with the F9s. So let's open her up, take a look at her. Well, this is what she looks like inside. So as I was telling you, one of the big differences in this chassis is this is the old one with the other kind of the Vanquish super shafty bomb-proof transmission that I just got installed in it. As you can see how much difference it is. All this transmission that was all up on top here now is pretty much gone. The transmission is now setting way down in here, gotten rid of all the aluminum. This still has the transfer case in it. That's how we got this unit to have overdrive in it, which really worked well. This is a great setup. I don't know, I got my buds all fighting for this thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might just I got another set of axles. I got the Curries I took off this. I might just put them all back on here and have this, but I only need one truck. Uh, you know, who wants to run something that is not as good as another? And I think that this new ToyZuki axle is going to be quite the ticket. So you can take a look at her. Everything laid out well. I just put a new Mamba X 10 scale speed control in it for this build. I was having problems in it right off the bat. I talked to the gentleman down at Castle Creations today. They kind of walked me through some things, some different setups, and it still would not work. It did fine as long as you were on the throttle, but once you come up to a hill to where you were going to start crawling, and you started, slowing it down, and things started putting some load on it, it would like pop in and out of gear. So what it was doing is it was almost like cogging, and it was just kind of pop back and forth, and totally unacceptable. You can't drive a crawler like that. So I got to talking to them. They, we did all the suggestions that they have. Finally, we determined that there's a problem with the speed control. So I spoke to some of my other buddies that run that speed control in their setups. Two of them run them in Wraiths, and one of them runs it in a Wraith, but it's a crawler. And he said he was having the same issue with it, as far as the coming in and out of gear, kind of almost a cogging in when you're going real slow and putting a bind on things. So I sent her back, put my old dependable the Tekin FXR in here, FXR Pro Gen 2 I think it is, the brushless speed control with sensor. I never had an issue with that. I just wanted to go something a little newer and different. This is why I went with a Castle while I was doing this build. So anyway, here she is. Everything came out really nice, really nice. Gonna go take them out this weekend. Probably run up to Moon Rocks. I think we're gonna go and see if this will do as good as my old chassis, which we're expecting it to. There's no reason for it not to. So a lot of new stuff on here, using the same old links because everything, the geometry is all the same. It's got new axles. The transfer case that's in here, which I got covered up now, and shock setup and stuff is pretty much right off the old chassis. So we're going to take her out and see how she does. She should do really well. I was really impressed with back here the way they've got this plate cut out so that the rear forelink goes right up into the chassis instead of just hitting it where the other one had a brace. You got another ½ inch of clearance here that can be used. So that's a really good thing. Like I say, I do have these rear shocks, I think, cut down 3 millimeters, so they would normally be 3 millimeters longer. I didn't need all that height. I just felt it was giving me, cutting them down a little bit, made it crawl and side hill and stuff just that little bit better. So that's why I cut everything down. But I might have to go back to it. I don't know. I've never ran this chassis. So we'll see how she does. It's got to be better than the other one. So anyway, this is where we are. I told you I'd let you check it out, and I haven't seen any videos of this ToyZuki unit, much less out on the rocks, but we're going to do some shooting this weekend and check it out and see how she is. I just wound up with, I decided to go with just a plastic bumper up front instead of my nice big metal pig snout bumper that I had made for my other one. Since this is all carbon fiber frame, I just felt that that it needs to give a little bit, because I drive this thing hard. I'm not nice on my equipment at all. If they don't hang, I get something that will hang. And even the bumper prior to this on my other chassis, I bent the chassis rails already. Up front, they were all bent up from falling down stuff, nose diving off big cliffs and stuff. So I just thought it would be kind of brittle to run a hard bumper on this chassis with the G10 graphite, I believe it's called. So get something with a little more absorption there, and hopefully that'll make that last a little bit longer and won't be so shocking on the chassis. But other than that, so far, 2 thumbs up. I'll let you know Saturday really what the real story is, because if I don't like this, I'm going to put the other chassis back together and get rid of this one here, because I don't like anything that I believe I'm going forward. If it's not better than what I had, I'm going back to what I had. So anyway, that's what the story is. We're going to go do that. And then also got my bud coming down from up north. He got his
Sheldon Cooper's Council of Ladies. What is happening? I need your advice about a delicate workplace situation. To protect those involved, I'll be changing their names.
Who's involved?
A short, bespectacled colleague of mine who lives in the shadow of his brilliant roommate.